The Nintendo Switch OLED is an amazingly easy product to recommend, and to recommend against. Are you looking to buy a Nintendo Switch for the first time? Get the Switch OLED. Do you already own a Nintendo Switch? It's probably not worth upgrading. On the one hand, it's easy to love the Switch OLED because it accomplishes what it sets out to do so well. On the other hand, it's easy to be frustrated with the Switch OLED because it's such a mild upgrade at a time when the Switch could really use a full 4K variant. The most noticeable change between the Switch OLED and the base model is the former's 7-inch OLED screen compared to the latter's 6-inch LCD screen. The OLED screen is the centerpiece of the Switch OLED, and where most of Nintendo's praise is due. The larger screen renders crisp images with vibrant colors and deep blacks. When you play a game with dark, detailed levels, such as the alien caverns of Metroid Dread, the experience feels even more immersive than before. At the same time, it's worth pointing out that your eyes get acclimated to just about anything after a while. When I first jumped from the base Switch to the OLED model, I found the bigger screen and more lifelike colors stunning. After half an hour, I'd tune them out to focus exclusively on gameplay. The Switch OLED's other upgrades are more subtle, but still useful. The kickstand now runs the length of the device, rather than being a simple, flimsy piece of plastic. Furthermore, the Switch OLED's dock possesses a built-in Ethernet port, so you no longer have to buy a separate adapter. Then there are the speakers, which don't look much different, but sound considerably better. If there's one area where the Switch OLED falls a bit short, it's in performance. That's not because the Switch OLED is any worse than the base model. In fact, it's almost exactly the same. But the fact is that the Switch is a 4-year-old console, and the industry has made some pretty significant strides in hardware since 2017. To put it bluntly, after playing the PS5 and Xbox Series X, it's difficult to go back to a Switch, OLED or otherwise. The Nintendo Switch OLED's controller options are identical to those of the base Switch. The Joy-Cons are still competent when attached to the console, and a bit off-center and uncomfortable when plugged into the controller base. I recommend the Nintendo Switch Pro controller if you're going to sit back and play games on the couch for hours on end. Just like the base Switch and Switch Lite, the Nintendo Switch OLED offers a robust and eclectic game library. You'll be able to play beloved first-party Nintendo fare, such as The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, as well as more recent third-party hits and classic retro games. I would be remiss, however, if I did not mention Metroid Dread. Samus Aran's latest adventure looks gorgeous on the Switch OLED, particularly the deep reds and blues of her power armor, and the stately blacks of the dangerous planet ZDR. The Switch OLED employs the same battery as the base model Switch, and Nintendo claims that the OLED can last between 4.5 and 9 hours on a single charge. In our testing, Metroid Dread ate through a fully charged battery in about 5 hours. Overall, the Nintendo Switch OLED is a great system. This is primarily because the base Nintendo Switch is still a great system, and the Switch OLED makes a handful of smart additions. Still, there's something decidedly unsatisfying about the system. With a whole new generation of consoles on the market, even an OLED screen can't make the Switch feel particularly slick or powerful. If you take it for what it is, the Switch OLED is a solid system, and an easy bet for gamers who haven't taken the plunge on a Switch yet. But if you consider what it might have been, the Switch OLED may simply be a stopgap before Nintendo takes another big risk on another inventive idea.